We've all been there. You draft what you think is a completely reasonable text to a colleague or a relative, carefully pointing out where they dropped the ball. 5 minutes later, your phone is lighting up with a furious, defensive paragraph that completely ignores the actual problem. The issue is often the architectural design of your sentences. Leading with you-centered statements, like "you always forget" or "you never listen," initiates a biological sequence in the other person before they can even process your point. When the human brain hears a sentence starting with an accusation, the amygdala registers it as a physical threat. Consequently, the listener's prefrontal cortex, the center for logic and empathy, immediately goes offline. They stop evaluating your information and begin defending their survival. Today, we are dismantling that reactive architecture to install the clarity protocol, a verbal framework designed to bypass these biological triggers and keep the focus on the problem. To begin, pull up your phone or email. Find an angry draft you've been waiting to send to a colleague or relative and keep it in front of you. Take a look at your opening line. Relying on defensive, you-centered language communicates a lack of emotional control, acting as a barricade that keeps the other person from hearing your message. Step 1 is the data point delivery. Delete your opening emotional sentence and replace it with a statement of undeniable facts. Look at this reactive draft. Writing, "You ruined the presentation," is an accusation that immediately triggers a defensive response. Instead, we strip the emotion from the event. The factual replacement reads, "The slides were missing 3 key metrics during the client meeting." To verify this sentence, check if it reads as objectively as a police report. If it does, you have successfully isolated the data. Watch for silent judgments or adjectives. Words like careless or unacceptable are not facts. They are interpretations that will bring the threat response back online. Look at your own draft. Identify any remaining subjective words and delete them now. By leading with data, you neutralize the biological alarm. You allow the other person to look at the actual problem instead of feeling the need to defend themselves. Step 2 is the internal translation. This is where you communicate the impact of the facts by owning your internal reaction. A common mistake at this stage is diagnosing the other person's character. For example, "You are so lazy and inconsiderate about the house." The proper translation expresses the feeling without the character attack. "I feel overwhelmed when the kitchen is left messy after dinner." Beware of the sneaky accusation. Starting the sentence with "I feel like you are" is just a judgment in disguise. Keep the focus on your own emotion. Use this strict 2-part formula to guide your draft. I feel emotion when specific event. When you refuse to attack someone's character, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting to their behavior and start directing the exchange. The final step is the collaborative pivot. This concluding sentence shifts the energy of the message away from the past error. Add a forward-facing question. How do we make sure this specific bottleneck does not happen next week? This redirection is vital. You are moving the conversation from what went wrong to how the problem gets fixed. Your message must end with a question mark. This acts as a clear invitation for the other person to join you in a collaborative process. This pivot changes the focus of the exchange. You stop dwelling on a failure and start leading the way toward a resolution. Look at the difference. On the left is the original reactive draft. On the right is a message built to be heard, composed of facts, internal impact, and a path forward. It takes psychological discipline to look at someone who has frustrated you and choose this level of precision over a quick emotional release. Your ego will crave the satisfaction of making the other person feel small with an angry draft. You have to decide if you want the fleeting high of being right or the lasting power of actually being heard. Copy your new draft into your messaging app and hit send. By removing the biological threat from your language, you have cleared the path for a productive conversation.